Other, we can start playing together and working together. Those things you call commercials, I don't make those. People who want to play make them. And I don't know what my control for it was, especially that make
Gentlemen, this is the elimination course. My calling is to keep men out of the ministry. I consider my test a success when the blood is 4 feet deep and the bodies are floating around the room.
That's amazing.
Now, we're trying to gain people's attention. Before the people were able to commit to a follow, and again, I can't help but watch this and think, things are riding us. Things are riding us. And it's increasingly obvious.
Modernity sort of lured us into imagining we were in charge. That we were somehow in control, but we're not in control. You've got a tiny group of people that are just sort of hyper about the blues, and they're learning together, and all of this new stuff sort of bursts forth. And in Laurel Canyon, you have this tiny little group of people that are sort of working on this, and then, you know, in some ways, via technology, this stuff just spreads all out throughout the world.
It, of course, made me think about this little corner, because what doesn't? And it made me think about the little group of people that are just playing with things now.
And I thought Jordan Hall said it very well in the conversation, you know.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, hi. Oh, hi. This is a live stream on the Grimgriz YouTube channel and X, I guess. Oh, Captain, my Captain, for April '03, Thursday, I heard. Parasitic pluralism is on the thumbnail with a Midwest meta jelly roll. As far as, I guess that's what the AI thought a Midwest was. And, okay. Oh, okay. And the Logos is asking if Chad made that branding. That was McMull. One that Chad made, though, is right. Why you got that loaded twice? Right. Which one were you gonna do? There was one you picked already. Yeah. No, it's not that one. Then fine, do this one.
Engagement with psychology or something, they'll have a kind of distorted and potentially harmful view of what psychology is, what it can do, what it tells us about human nature, and then they'll connect that to ways of thinking about engaging with people. And the justification for that is a theoretical basis, but if the theory was slightly different or slightly better than the theory, then the kind of practical advice that would come out of it is slightly different. So that's the answer.
What would be a sound epistemic standard for you, or usual? What does that look like? Very big phrase.
It's also not. It's a very complicated question. So there's a lot of different skills and activities that I would say come under what I might call something like epistemic hygiene, right, or something like that.
Okay, right there.
Pause right there real quick.
Oh, all neck deep in branding without any savings throws, are you? Well then, you should have one. The savings throw we do here are against mind control. As far as I know, it's the only place you even get one. Always just floating, taking full damage. But here, if you make a choice between survival, social, wisdom, or heart as the basis for how you resist the mind control, I'll roll the die. And if the die comes up 10 or higher on the one you chose, then you've made your savings throw and get half damage from all the mind control. If it's under 10, full damage. Bonuses apply. You can get +2 for just chatting in the hive mind, +5 for a replay comment, etc., etc. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. Survival is coming in strong today with that 3 5s worth of 15. 3 5s worth of 15. Socialists, unfortunately, only Trinity for you. You're going to need a +7 to get to 10. Wisdom, folks, this is an 8. This is an 8 that was rolled for you. Focus. And then heart, folks, all your chakras, but you're going to need a +3. You're going to be plus. And then prime 17. For the Indigo kids, it's been a minute.
Remember, embody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you. Remember, embody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you.
You see, there's been an influx of people from the Broken Clock Tower Discord where they were loitering. They were loitering for whatever they do in the voice channels there. And I need the numbers. I need the numbers for the YouTube. So I've summoned them to the hive mind. And there they are for that. Today's show is going to be adjunct professing on the what was triggered in me by watching what was transfigured in me by watching the transfigured upcoming Midwestuary promo conversation with Elizabeth Oldfields and Pastor Paul Vanderklay, as well as Sam from Transfigured himself, because, you know, it's his channel. It's his channel. You know, there's a fringe encounter between me and Sam somewhere on this channel. Involves the word heretics. If you're searching, juxta card of the show is the 8 of diamonds. And now...
Because if one learns to put a lid on feelings, it's very hard to open up the lid for feeling A, but close it for feeling B.
Yo soy una hija del Inti Sol, de la Pachamama y del Inti Sol. Yo soy hermana del pueblo Coya, del Inti hermano y de la Aymara, de la Aymara, la Aymara. Yo misma me guío a la libertad, el Aymara.
Hello. I see the assassins have failed. Oh, looky there. We got Ian Clark in the hive mind saying, what if savings throws mean nothing to me? Well, sir, that's a performative contradiction. If they meant nothing, you wouldn't be asking. You wouldn't be asking. Oh, look, it's Cale Zeldin currently destroying his public reputation in a fantastic retweet by our good well, some people claim he's their friend, Eric Weinstein. Oh, bless Algo for that, Phoebus. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay. Hey, Mills. Eric, this guy says, I love this place. And what is this? Oh, my God. He's retweeted the Cale Zeldin after his fabulous appearance on the Benjamin Boys channel. He gets a retweet from Eric. Oh, because you tagged him. Well, the tag worked. How rare it is that a tag works when you're punching up. He goes, I love this place, X. You see it in everything I talk about. It's 100% serious. Elon, the Mars, honestly, don't know. It's not about ego. It's not about science fiction. It is nakedly about one thing: loving humanity and the quest to restore an indefinite future and traverse the cosmos. If no one laughed when you said that, wouldn't you agree that this is the most marvelous use of a life? Anyway, so they get into it. And he retweets him again, and he says to our good friend Cale, he says, have you really tried thinking this through? I guarantee that you have not. And frankly, that was too much for me. So I said, how are you going to guarantee he hasn't thought something through? Because he can't process it, can't run enough processes to get through it all? Have you thought it all through? Everything we see indicates life feeds on life to get one over on entropy everywhere. What happens when a fish bigger than humanity sees us moving between the rocks? Have you thought that all the way through, Mr. Think It All the Way Through, man? If we get off this rock, what aren't we bringing with us? You expect us to leave the genetic targeting bioweapons on Earth? And we have the Cale Zeldin himself here in this hive mind. What a fabulous little microcosm.
These bandanas make it hurt.
and whoosh.
And whoosh, Slicarius has joined the hive mind. Welcome. Okay. What we're gonna do? We were gonna go up into this way up, all the way up here, and then deliver on the title and the thumbnail, because we like to deliver. Look, it's not ever clickbait, these titles of mine, and that's the thing. It's in a matter of integrity, or something. And the title is "Oh Captain, My Captain," and that, my friends, comes from merely the fact that I watched. No, it's one of these tabs, though. I'm sure of it. There it is. Once upon a time, I watched this episode just recently, yesterday. I watched the episode that changed Picard forever, from this Art of Storytelling channel, so I'm back then when in the earliest of the 90s, when these shows were airing, it was like we only had 4 networks and cable was still emerging. So the mimetic penetration of Set had with the mimetic programming of the next generation of Pepsi Star Trek was pretty profound. And that episode, and the "Oh Captain, My Captain" part of that is that there's a character in the Star Trek series that has a relationship with Captain Picard, and he says that line, and he's an omnipotent being. And he shows in the very first episode of that series the future of humanity. And if you go back and compare it to where we are and where we've gone, the next thing we're supposed to be having is privatized police forces, like all hopped up on chemicals. That's what we're supposed to be getting right now. So therefore, then, is the delivery on the "Oh Captain, My Captain" title part. And now we can move on to more interesting parts of the show. Remember it.
This agency. We walk
Midwestuary 2025, August 22nd through the 24th in Elmhurst, Illinois. A weekend you won't want to miss, with special guests Cale Zeldin, Paul Vanderklay, Rod Dreer, Elizabeth Oldfield, John Vervaeke, and Jonathan Pajot. Midwestuary 2025, the Fellowship of the Spirit. Stay tuned for more details. Visit us at midwestuary.com for ongoing updates.
Oh no, we have disappointment expressed in the hive mind by Paul Vanderklay. There he says, "I'm disappointed with that delivery. I wanted more." Well, as it turns out, Pastor Paul, I too wanted more, and that's why you can see at the top of the hive mind there is a super chat goal. What? No, stop it. There's a super chat goal. A $5 donation via the super chat, of which I get 70%. And this show extending for 2 hours. Mainly I'm trying to do a 2-hour stream, and putting the goal up there helps me think that maybe it'll happen if we get close to the goal. And so anyway, I wanted more too, Pastor Paul. We work with what we get. Oh, by the way, I'm out. That's why I'm trying to do a 2-hour stream, because I'm currently out of touch as part of the trauma spiral. You can go a couple streams back and catch up on what triggered that. It's nearing a year anniversary of something terrible, and then I'm using that as an excuse not to do anything and just deteriorate. But even in this deteriorated state, I thought I'd try and be in touch while I'm out of touch. I'm out of time, but I'm out of my head.
Shake it up
is all that we know. Using the bodies up as we go. I'm waking up to fantasies. The shades all around aren't the colors we used to see. Broken ice still melts in the sun, and times that are broken can often be won again. We're so alone, and so really matters to me. Take a look around. You're out of touch. I'm out of time. But I'm out of my head. Oh, Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every crack. The prize we sought is won. The port is near, the bells I hear, the people all exulting, while follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring. Oh, heart, oh, bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen, cold, and dead.
It's very evolutionary, it's a ball.
No, T-Grog, I can go anywhere you want in the whole realm of human knowledge. I'm happy to go there with you. Where would you like to go?
Well, I'm just saying, why doesn't your position collapse into agnosticism? Or
because I don't require someone to hand me a system in order to test it. I don't feel like I have to be given a system in order to test everything. I feel like I've been given everything I need, and I'm attuning that system, which is me, the instrument that I am.
How about your intuitions?
No, I have measurement tools. My body is enormously calibrated to measure things.
And could your body measurements be
anywhere you want in the whole realm of human knowledge? I'm happy to go there with you. Where would you like to go?
Well, I'm just saying, why doesn't your position collapse into agnosticism? Or
because I don't require someone to hand me a system in order to test it. I don't feel like I have to be given a system in order to test everything. I feel like I've been given everything I need, and I'm attuning that system, which is me, the instrument that I am.
So it's your intuitions.
No, I have measurement tools. My body is enormously calibrated to measure things. Yeah.
And could your body measurements be wrong?
My body is enormous. Okay, Anonymous Marquez has found the Ko-fi donation link at the top of the hive mind. And you see what's happening there is about a year ago, a little white thing went, and I sent kayfabe out the back door to chase it. And it turns out the little white thing was a tiny little kitten that had the back of its tail mysteriously damaged. And it lived under the house for about a month or 3, and then eventually made its way inside and is now Kikitron over there in the bed by the window. And she wants to go outside, but if I let her go outside with the other cats, she'll come back with 8 cats inside of her. And so I need to facilitate the rest of my life in such a way that I can have her eugenics performed, even though it makes me feel weird inside. I think maybe she'd rather go outside than have babies. I don't know. That's fun. But that's what's up with the Ko-fi goal today.
Now we're stuck on this stupid tower in the middle of nowhere. And I don't blame you, and now we're stuck on this stupid freaking tower in the middle of freaking nowhere. And it's all my fault.
Que stereo ne, shikata nai yo. Y es todo por mi culpa.
Man, I could just listen to things in Japanese, I think.
We all know that there is no agency any living gent can see doing what is right for me. Just lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency.
And we're moving toward, we're now at 8% towards the surgery option of prisoner surgery, thanks to Dr. Strangelove. Stranglove. Thank you. Okay. Listen. I don't even know what a weeb means, Slack.
I'm not a cat.
All right, I might fall behind on the comments and such, but we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go to get all the way to, what do you call it there? Pharisaic pluralism. And that, so we better start heading that way. So like I said, most of this is an adjunct professing on this here, what? No, where is it? There, that one. this here, Elizabeth Oldfield and Paul Vanderklay Spiritual Fellowship and Collective. On Transfigured there. But let's start first, therefore, then with a Blue Church card. A Blue Church card of the show. All right, how about that there? Okay, we have notes. The first timestamp is begins at 1611 is where we're starting today.
I think I really love what you said, Elizabeth, and you, Sam, too, because this context collapse and a lack of a shared story, or at least even a shared experience, I suspect that increases what we're seeing, that reactivity itself then becomes the communal experience.
Wow, yeah.
Because, I often think about the fact that if you, again, let's think about perhaps you have the collapse of Roman civilization, you have medievalism. Great many people sort of live in what we would call a natural environment where, let's say, the rhythms of nature, the changing of the seasons, the planting and sowing, animal life, all of this sort of becomes a basic phenomenological substrata by which, and then you have, say, the mythic church in the center of the village with the steeple. And so it's very much you can have a nice little monoculture. You have all these monocultures side by side. Of course, you have these great stirring experiences like the Crusades, where suddenly you have massive exchanges, but so much of the population is living in their own little monoculture. And obviously part of what the internet, especially with the collapse of, let's say, the second world, which was the communist world, and globalism from the late 80s into the 90s, and then cable television, the internet, all of what we see.
Sad. Oh, but I thought all of that was actually just good.
Again, is sort of a rise in reactivity, because all of us can't help but live in our own little monocultures of one, or maybe our family, or maybe our church, or our village, or community, or what have you. But now all of the other monocultures and some much more dominant cultures sort of thrown at us. And at some point, we're going to see something that makes us react. And so then instead of having sort of these coalitions around belief or practice or shared experience or shared narratives, we now have these massive communities of reaction. Where, you know, it wasn't a surprise to me when I saw sort of the rise of the woke. I thought, if you don't like the woke, wait for the anti-woke, because the anti-woke, that's going to be massive. Because if you're sort of building your monoculture on gender or race or orientation or something like that, fringes have fringes, and the summation of all of those fringes will inevitably be far larger than your little monoculture.
Yeah.
And so, but the difficulty with that, of course, is all of this reactivity is parasitic. It relies upon a hegemon to push back against. And what we've seen in sort of the weirdness of the last few decades has been, you know, people have noted that, for example, in the United States, dominated by, let's say, the boomers, and they're all reacting to the man. The difficulty is that the boomers are reacting all sort of passed away in the 70s and 80s. They're not around anymore. So then you get this conservative reaction to them that says, no, we're reacting against the hippies and the boomers. And
you get Francis Collins is still singing protest songs on the Capitol Mall after he's been removed from his position. Still out there being Woody Guthrie fighting the man with his 6-string guitar. Yeah,
that's right. And I just
thought all of that was a worthwhile lens that people might not have viewed things through before. Let it soak in.
What's reality? I don't know. When my bird was looking at my computer monitor, I thought, that bird has no idea what he's looking at. And yet, what does the bird do? Does he panic? No, he can't really panic. He just does the best he can. Is he able to live in a world where he's so ignorant? Well, he doesn't really have a choice. The bird's okay, even though he doesn't understand the world. You're that bird looking at the monitor, and you're thinking to yourself, I can figure this out. Maybe you have some bird ideas.
What? Next time, Stamp, we'll be looking at this 2311. But there's this part. I don't know if they go into this guy. They go into this guy named Emil Durkheim, and it's part of the trauma spiral continues. But from the associated trauma, I understand that thinker is heavily used in leftist schooling programs. And so there's the collective effervescence bit we might be okay with, but he's got something dirty and wrong in there somewhere. Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out.
Therefore, no one come to a kind of more healthy emotional and spiritual life.
Yeah, and I think that really is part of the draw for conferences like the ones that we're hosting. I still remember that feeling in, like, say, early 2016 when Jordan Peterson was doing his biblical series, and I'm looking at these videos. I'm like, this has 1 million views. You know, where are the 1 million people? That's bigger than the largest football stadium I've ever been in. But is it you? You know, like, I want to stand up in my giant cubicle office space and be like, surely if there's 1 million people, at least one of them, there's at least one other person in here that's hearing what I'm hearing. But how do I have that feeling of, collective interest and excitement of what I'm listening to? And I think that is a lot of what this little corner is sort of. I feel like we are trampling down social media with social media. Right, we are fighting YouTube with YouTube, fighting the internet with the internet, and using
the judo guys.
Right, we're using the powers of darkness against itself. We will not be isolated. We will not be turned into consumers. We will have our interpersonal community, and we will make the content that for ourselves and each other that we would like to listen to, and we know the person behind the channel and they know us, and we leave a comment, and the comment section is not just some angry screed. It's hopefully they recognize and remember our name. But that doesn't mean that it always works. It's not.
I mean, the difference between the comments under Paul's videos and the comments on some of the videos I've been in are very different.
Yeah. And,
also, I'm going to eat nuts. I hope you don't mind.
Go for it. And it's because if
The
you
list? Yes. Any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast Magic Missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile. Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here. I'm attacking the darkness.
Hey, Paul did a thing. Sorry, we need a longer fireworks, I think, for days like this. We even got some from Phoebus today. How about that? Okay, and then I just wanted to comment on this part here where Sam was saying that we make content for each other, and how I sometimes wonder about my place in the TLC, because I don't do this everybody come on and talk to each other on stream thing that everybody else does, but I still feel as though, so it's like I do a show for those. It's like I'm like one meta layer even deeper. I don't. It's something I think about sometimes.
Are showing up in the same place repeatedly, a reiterated interaction is much more likely to go better than a one-off anonymous interaction. And if I say something mean to Paul or in response to one of the other people in Paul's comment sections, well, I might see them again, quote unquote, in the next video or the video after that, or they might show up in my comment section or whatever. And that helps bring something more like a healthy social environment where you feel accountable and you want to, be friendly, make good impressions, critique lightly and gently as low as possible and stuff like that. But what exactly unites it is then a bigger and unclear question. And what exactly is the uniting? Like, it does feel like, this little corner and other parts of the internet have like a spirit to them in the way that Paul will talk about school spirit. And that's sort of what I mean. Like, when we show up in person, it feels like we can go deeper, faster, even if I've never met you or if I've just seen your screen name underneath the video before. And because we have all of the shared context and shared sort of spirit, whereas I might not share that spirit with other people. But what's sort of generating that spirit? What is that spirit? How is it managed? How is it kept healthy? How is it kept oriented towards the Holy Spirit? How's that?
Oh yeah, if you go back a few minutes ago, right when I play the TLC part, she's like, "You guys don't mind if I eat nuts, do you?"
Exactly, it's the Holy Spirit. We sort of say, I mean, thinking of the Holy Spirit as the thing that sort of collectively unites Christendom, I think is a fair thing to say. But even then, Christendom, that's a complicated word to use, right? Maybe not Christianity. Those who follow Jesus, I don't know, whichever one of those words. I'm trying to mean them synonymously, but I know that they're different. Anyway, those are the thoughts that are swirling in my head.
I gotta go to the card after this. Great news. Despite most of these notes being written in the Symbolic World book, I did go get myself a new set of cards, and I'm supposed to reference that now, according to these notes. And what got written on the card was from watching Pastor Paul's ramble today. It was quite the stroll through his train of thought. But there was this part in there part in there about people like that's focusing on their deconstruction and how like he found this guy's article. He says, I'm not a Christian anymore. And that's how it got on the card. See, what's on the card is that the red church card of the show is the 7 of spades. But the card I'm talking about, it says you can't divorce Jesus. It's like this notion that like if the creator of the universe, he's got this thing set up where if you let him into your heart, then you are washed in his blood and included in salvation. And do you think that you can decide not to after that? Because that I don't think it's up to you whether or not you're a Christian. And I think I don't think you can divorce Jesus. That's what this says. It says you can't divorce Jesus. Like you're done. You're saved. Like you can realize it afterward and feel terrible about thinking you divorced him, but you've been married the whole time, right?
Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. So say we all.
LARP. We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. LARP. We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. That was a McMo one, I think. I believe that was a McMo masterpiece. I think that was his stylistic impression, signature thereof. Okay. Oh no! I've got a command to grift harder. What could we possibly do? What could you could go to the edit video over here. You're working magic. You should run branding, but I'm busy. Going into the prayer, share this. This is what I'm grifting harder now because Slack told me to. Let's just hope that the new sincerity utopia. Wait. No, not the Zuni one. The Zuni one doesn't work. That's that they stopped doing that one. Son of a. Where's the new one? Oh, here it is. The Kale. It doesn't. What's going on here? No. Here, guys, see if these work. I'm putting them in the thing there. It's supposed to be Kale's face saying t-shirts or underwear. Apparently I'm having a malfunction while I'm doing it live. Here, I guess you can still get a hoodie too. There we go. I'm grifting harder, Slack. I try. I do try.
Although this world will devastate you. And rejoice although this world will penetrate you. Rejoice although you will not survive. Rejoice you'll never make it out alive.
Excellent rehearsal, gentlemen.
And rejoice your hair, it smells like burning hair. Oh, rejoice your nails all got chewed off. Oh, rejoice. And holy fuck, you're bleeding there. Oh, rejoice, you burn your whole beard off. Rejoice despite the fact this world will hurt you. And rejoice despite the fact this world will kill you. And rejoice despite the fact this world will tear you to shreds. Rejoice because you're trying your best.
Hey, I love that one. That's gorgeous. Thank you, brother. Wait, who's that brother? Andrew Jack.
All right, the new and exciting news. If you go and you click down there where it says the word shop, you can get to the thing. It looks blank. It looks blank when you get to the shop, but if you click on the item itself, you'll see the new Kale Underneath shirts, t-shirts, or underwear shirt is available at the agency link there. Now back to the adjunct professing on this video, where our next timestamp brings us to 3006.
Music concerts are in some ways, I think, downstream from religious events. And now that we've been able to reproduce music, and that often comes up in conversation, that where do people sing together? Well, religious people say, I sing all the time.
At the Taylor Swift Eras concert, Paul, that's where people sing together, and I'm not joking.
No,
right?
I know.
And Taylor Swift is able to balance this sort of individualized thing through the internet, but then bring people together in giant stadiums where everyone's singing along and singing together. And for many people, that's one of the most exciting, memorable, and effervescent, experiences that they have that year, and they're willing to fork over the money that demonstrates that they feel that way. And Taylor Swift is still one of those things that you can talk about and assume that everyone else knows what you're talking about,
except me.
Who's Taylor Swift dating, Paul?
Until a few months ago, I couldn't name a single one of her songs. But
her darkest and deepest truths are always ironically revealed to allow her an escape hatch through deniability. Consider these lyrics. Are they meant to be taken seriously or ironically?
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Everybody agrees. I stand directly at the sun and never enemy.
All right, that was poorly executed, but it was supposed to be like right after Paul says, "Accept me," and then they don't all land. I need a couple pens.
Imagine a world where boundaries blur between reality and fiction, with Mikhail Gorbachev leading the charge. Gorbachev didn't just challenge political norms, he dared to break the fourth wall in storytelling. "Tear down that fourth wall," he exclaimed, inviting us into a new era of engagement. His metaphorical call wasn't for Berlin alone. It was a clarion call to storytellers and audiences alike. Engage directly, break barriers, and foster a dialogue. Gorbachev's words echo in the halls of creativity. As storytellers, it's our turn to tear down that fourth wall, inspired by Gorbachev's daring challenge. Join us in this creative revolution. Tear down the walls that confine your stories. Share, like, and subscribe for more inspiration.
Okay, and now the next stamp is whoa, we've gone 50 minutes already. Well, we got the super chat goal still going. If only there was some incoming encouragement.
And almost all communities across history were, Haidt talks about high barriers to entry and high barriers to exit. And if you live in a local neighborhood with someone, there's no high barrier to entry in it. Effectively, you're born into it. But you have to rupture and repair, because otherwise you have to see the person that you're angry with every day. And that's also true of church communities. It used to be true of unions, right? These places, and he says it's particularly key for teenagers and for brain development as teenagers to be part of communities where you learn your impact on the world and you moderate your behavior, because you come to see other human beings as fully human, which young children, I think, there's a developmental thing. And what happens when the only communities you're part of are on the internet, which are low barrier to entry and low barrier to exit, and if something goes wrong, you can just leave. Anyone can join, can leave at any time. No one's going to notice. No one's going to come around your house and say, "Are you okay?" Is that it's very hard to do the work of character formation, and that they are not morally formative. My guess is that you would say something maybe slightly different about what's like. Okay, so my question is to you, given that it is necessarily, I assume, low barrier to entry and low barrier to exit, do you think that this little corner of the internet can be or is a morally formative community?
I know that many people have had that experience with it. I just recently somebody.
Oh yeah. Then he does the Phlebas story. this part, I have it. That was minute 33, and then the notes say to go from there to paintball for Jesus. And in recent news, I've reached out to start working actually in the reality of trying that out. So if you could do me the favor of just seeding the notion of paintball to your local youth pastor, it might come in handy. We appreciate your agency, and the agency deck card of the show is the 10 of diamonds. And then I have a little arrow that goes down to the win-win of doing it badly. I think to go into the win-win of doing it badly, it's been a while, this little grouping of people being here. And way back when I started, I always thought I would do it badly. Ooh, number two on the way. Thank you, Upcycle Club. And part of the reason I wanted to do it badly was to show people, like, so that when people watched it, they'd be like, this guy can like get up, just put it, I can do better than that. So by doing it badly, it was like inviting you to step forward and play and do it better than that. And that's part of, and that's the sort of thing that gets you highlighted by a Teo Falele, as far as I'm concerned, in costume over on the Grail country, saying such fabulous things like this about you.
Orthodox and you super influential. There are still book clubs going on Saturdays on the.
All right, this was poorly time-stamped. We're getting there.
Channel on his book, so his ideas continue to get chewed on by the corner, and other people have internalized his ideas more than some. I think a lot of if you lean more orthodox and you prefer that way of accessing reality, then yeah, I think Matthew Peugeot would be your guy. And I think it was McMurdo that coined him the Protestant mystic, which I think is a fitting title for Matthew. Now we're up to the big.
Now we're where we were supposed to be.
Guns. Griswold Grim. The law of Gris is one that no one in the corner needs to be introduced to, but the people that are new to the corner, it takes a bit of explaining to sort of understand why is it that everyone in the corner revere this General Griswold Grim. We coined him the Salience Groundskeeper Willie of this little corner of the internet on voice chat.
Groundskeeper Willie?
Just look at this picture. I think I think this was also Matt C that gave me this picture, but that just looks like the most trollish picture you can find of Grizz. Grizz has birthed more frame-breaking memes than any other rando. I don't think it's even close how many memes Grim Grizz has birthed, not just birthed, but that's stuck and continue to grow. He's the most influential of any rando ever, and it's not even close. From Alien Salience Projects, I said Landscape, but actually the project.
The Alien Salience Project, that's a good one. You could still find it, probably. That's where you make a video up to 7 minutes long explaining what it's like to be human to an alien. Because you see, if we try to explain what it's like to be human to each other, it gets all biased and filtery and with the assumed shared common ground. So if you remove the assumed shared common ground and explain your being like a human to an alien, and other people explain their being like a human to an alien, you can accentuate the differences and wider breadth of the spectrum of human.
Alien Salience Project to exposing the programming of cell and sets. And if you don't know, then get to know. Go subscribe to the Grim Grizz channel and donate to McMurdo's Ko-Fi.
You can go over to Grail Country and see the rest of that. It's part of a stream called The Big Three of Knowing, which they should probably trim and release as a video.
Here they come. I love you.
Okay, let's move on toward parasitic pluralism. We're not there yet. We're at 3622 in this one. No.
That he's a biblical Unitarian, and he can't seem to talk about the Trinity with Trinitarians because they want to wall him out because they don't know how to talk to him about that, especially because he knows all this stuff about church fathers and things, and they don't know much about that. They just came on with the Trinity tribe. So somehow it's happening. And I praise God for that. But I haven't, and this is a frustration for some people because a lot of people for a long time say, Paul, would you just please tell us the system that you're working here? So I don't know what the system
So
is.
I can be comfortable with it. If you show me the operating manual, then I can understand what's going on and I won't be so worried.
Right.
And if I don't know the operating manual, then can I trust this thing? I think that's what a lot of people are feeling. But to answer your question, Elizabeth, one thing that's interesting about this little corner is like I looking at my YouTube metrics, and I suspect yours are similar, Paul. My most common demographic is in their 30s. And I have more people in their 40s than in their 20s. And I don't have a ton of teenagers. And so at some level, I feel like a lot of the moral formation that you're talking about, Elizabeth, happens at a younger age than the core. We're sort of assuming, we're hoping that you were raised well out there by the time that you get to us. And we're counting on a lot of people having already morally formed people before they get to this corner of the internet. And I feel like this is something like it appeals to a lot of people who are, I think it's common, especially when you become married or a parent, that you start taking more intentional looks at your own spiritual life and your own spiritual formation. And that a lot of times people's 20s are a little bit more carefree and they might not think about those things. And then sort of that next life stage kicks in and it brings it back up the hierarchy of importance. And that this community appeals to a lot of people in that stage, but I certainly wouldn't want to exclude any 20-year-olds or teenagers or whatever. And also, I should also say, we have a lot of people way older than their 40s too. My meetup group in person has people into their 80s.
I think where I wanted to go with what he said about, he eventually says that we might be shaping the people who are shaping the formation of younger people because of the age demographic we have. And that wanted me to swing over toward the home math for some reason. I think this is forming the age group that we're wanting to target right now.
Standing and walking like you don't care about yourself, and you have to dress properly too, which is not difficult. I'll go over it in Self-Maximize. But if you're a man and you're not maximizing this aspect of yourself, you are leaving this on the table and you are doomed to be here forever. So for men, we like a lot of things per difficult one to master. I called this section masculinity. I broke it down into competence and confidence. Again, this is the Mr. Rogers area. This is how likable you are, how nice of a person people think you are. This is the supportive husbandy area. It's how much you're investing in. Here's why it's called investment. This is like the Tony Montana area. That's the main character from the movie Scarface. And this was his girlfriend, and she...
This is, I think, the formation that's happening on the layer before here.
This is how I steer. This is me chasing this thing, you know? Yeah. This is how I steer. Yeah. This is me chasing this thing, you know? Yeah. This is how I steer.
I'm steering, but we finally made it. We finally made it to what inspired the thumbnail of this Midwest meta jelly roll man and Pharisaic pluralism. We finally made it there. Here it is.
the event. It's actually really good. I mean, it's on his YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But it goes into the Lord's Prayer, and it does the whole Lord's Prayer with the melody of the chorus in it at the end. So I'm like, how's everybody going to feel about the Lord's Prayer? I mean, obviously there are, are we going to say sins, trespasses, or debts? But there are deeper questions than just that. If we're singing these songs as a lyric in a song, is that all praying together? And I think that these sorts of things are real questions, and it sort of circles back around, Paul, to what you were talking about Easter dating, and who is in this weird world of like hyper pluralism and sort of a need to get along with each other in ways. I mean, Christianity's been dealing with Christian pluralism for a while, but it's like the gas pedal is even further down now than it has been in the past on a lot of those sorts of questions. And so if the Pope changes the date of Easter to correspond with the Orthodox, well, back in the Middle Ages, the Pope wasn't supposed to change the date of Easter. The Orthodox were supposed to get on board with the Bishop of Rome and change their date to match his date, right? That would be a lion culture Pope, right? The fox culture Pope is, all right, even if the Orthodox aren't wanting me to, I'm going to realign my church to be with their date. And it's sort of like we've been brought into communion on that particular aspect, even if they didn't want to be, right? And that's sort of a foxy kind of move to do on that sort of thing. But Protestants who have basically never had to deal with the subject of the date of Easter, well, do we follow the Pope? We don't follow the Pope. That's kind of what being a Protestant is. But we've just inherited this Easter dating system from them.
And how important is it that it's celebrated on a certain day? And is there such a thing as the Sabbath? And isn't every day like every other day in the new?
Right. And should we just go back to the 14th of Nisan?
All right, this is an example of what I mean by pharisaic pluralism. It's when, from my personal familiarity with the Bible, this is the sort of things that, like the difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, that Jesus was pretty darn hard on. And they go further and talk about how if at this fabulous Midwestuary, if people tried to have communion together, let's see if they have any tickets. If they had tried to have communion together, there'd be this big problem about it. And I just pictured myself, Jesus coming in and seeing them having these big problems about it. And I was just like, you guys are Pharisees, WT. There's 321 seats remaining. We're not sold out yet. Let's keep branding. We got one. What is it? That's not it. That's not it. Oh, I was supposed to do this for musicality.
Just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king, king. Happy, many down, many jack king from right. Just new king, big, great, can, new, happy. The hours are not what they seem, the hours. Very just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king, king. Happy, many down, many jack king from right. Just new king, big, great, can, new, happy. The hours are not what they seem. The hours are not what they seem. The hours, people very just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king, king. King, happy, many down, many jack king from right. Just new king, big, Great canoe happy, the owls are not what they seem, the owls.
All right. That one's a little self-indulgent. Ain't it though? We've checked in with Miriam, only to discover Weeb is not covered. But we do have the opportunity
Snark.
to decipher the word of the day secret message, which includes the last 5 words of the day, such as
Snark.
an informal word that refers to an attitude or expression of mocking irreverence and sarcasm. Or
effusive.
Someone or something described as effusive is expressing or showing a lot of emotion or enthusiasm.
Cynosure.
Cynosure? What the?
Cynosure.
That's a person or thing that attracts a lot of attention or interest. Wow.
Cynosure.
You say. It may refer to the North Star or its constellation Ursa Minor.
Penchant.
Is a strong liking for something or a strong tendency to behave in a certain way. And what's that?
Untoward.
So it's like the
Cynosure.
Start over. It's like the
Cynosure.
had a
Untoward. Penchant.
for
Effusive. Snark.
Well, that's clearly the secret message. It's clear you still didn't.
Did you get that on video? No. Mom, I'm not going. No, that's I'll show you later. Look, the gator, obviously. Hey, yo! I just feel bad for this kid. My God. Yeah, it's okay.
You guys think Jordan Hall is a
Cynosure.
10101 is our final timestamp. Let's see what's over there. Share this tab instead.
Grew up in. Bob Dylan is sacred.
Well, they called him a prophet even back during.
You guys have not seen the 60 Minutes where he said he sold his soul to the devil? You're supposed to be Christians. What the?
His early phases, right? That was noted. I think one other aspect of this, and this is connecting to some things that you were saying earlier, Elizabeth, is that I feel like we're having an increasingly hard time getting along well with people with whom we disagree. And I think you can see that in a lot of I don't know, one example that's coming to mind is like gender polarization with respect to politics, and that causing problems with dating and coupling and marriage. As men and women on average have increasingly different political views. And it's not just that they have different political views, but that one side or the other feels like they need someone who agrees with them on politics.
Just switch to my
all right. The note I got here says punch a Nazi left turn. That's when I remember back in 2012 when the left went from free speech is so important, we have to protect the Nazis' rights to make parades even though everybody hates Nazis, to it's okay to punch a Nazi. That was right around 2012 that shift happened, and that was when the left made their left turn two left as far as I'm concerned. And that's the last note we have, but there's other things open in the tabs. What's this one? Oh, this one is sort of complicated. First of all, it exists because this is a person called Not So Erudite on the thing, which is a very articulate leftist that the algorithm fed me the other day. But this part I have on display is like people like me try to influence you to join their channels. And if you're a professional and doing it not badly, like I told you earlier, I let myself do it badly so other people can. When you're doing it right, it looks like this. You get loyalty badges and like I haven't even given you loyalty badges. What kind of person am I? What kind of YouTuber am I doing? But there's these whole other parts of the internet where people like this one do things like that. That's what happened. She made a clip from this video, but it's not. It was a live stream, and she's flipped it over to members only after it was over. The part I was looking for was not in there, but it looks like this.
Okay, we'll switch it.
Here's a sample of the 33rd minute of what she actually put out. This is the one I'm.
Conspiracy theorists. And it's like, well, some of them are not. There is a replication crisis. And so I think, unfortunately, right, we have this situation where
you see how she's got the all professional, the stream chat appears on the thing. I think she mainly twitches, which is a whole nother realm. We should sail our boats into it. Or we should at least have boats that like exist in Twitch that also come dock with, metaphors.
Because we're ashamed and don't want to find truth, and paranoid people who think that the elites are out to get them see academics as the elites lying to them. That doesn't make spreading anti-vax narratives good. It's really bad and stupid. But it's not.
Tell that to your Mercury autistic. In the corner has been swamped with a
mind control.
Mind control. Mind control. Mind control.
Seethings throws her mind control. So this is how bad I have failed.
I understand you have a respect for serious play. Yes, I have a ritual with my channel where, like reminding fish that they're in water, I remind people that there's a lot of mind control out there, even if you just consider advertising.
So this is how bad I have failed.
I give you a savings throw against the mind control I use against you. So A, I'm using it against you, and if it works, I get more points. And B, you get the chance to resist. You base your resistance on your choice between your will to survive, your social networks, your accumulated wisdom, or the power of your heart.
Mind control will continue in a moment.
There's a channel that exists calls itself TLC On Ramp, at TLC On Ramp, the real Vanderclips. While there's only 39 subscribers, it apparently turns us into shorts. And this tile one has 360 views.
I was just gonna affirm what both of you said and also what Sherry said. It's the more interesting conversation is it's not so much finding out why you're not where I'm at. It's finding out why you're at where you're at, and in that conversation, hopefully getting to a point where I can learn, not in like that's good to know, like, but as in I can learn why you being at where you're at is important for me. I was just gonna affirm.
That was a good one. Matt says, "Don't watch e-girl slop, Grizz." But you see, we need a situational awareness of the other of attention that exist in the other. We should know the waters in which we water. I think is the thing. So that's my counter to that, Matt. What do you got there? Okay, we're only an hour and 20 minutes in, but I have one more thing left.
The thing we know about kayfabe is that he's a dog, and also it's participatory. And I think there's a difference we have going on, where one side acknowledges it and they participate knowing that it's rigged, right? And then there's this one, the other ones are just participating, they're playing along, they know it's rigged. There's a thing here going on where your acceptance of how to interface with kayfabe, how to participate in kayfabe, whether or not that includes the fact that it's fake and scripted or not, is it play? Is it play? I don't. Like I said, this was the edge of my thinking aloud. So the archetype, at least as far as I can tell, that I'm trying to manufacture as a TV station as part of mass media propaganda, is that of us as fire ants coming together in small intentionality networks that will eventually achieve synchronic harmony. Hermio. Lands in the sea of bullshit, forming small networks that will eventually come online. Now, I don't, but you want to be an ant? Is that a shitty architect of zoning? What the hell else do you have out there? Nothing.
See, so there's other intentionality networks out there, and I'm thinking we should do outreach or crossing the streams. The other thing I had left was what I got GPT to spit out over here. I'm just gonna read it. I think it's now for the farmed humanity narrative with hope. This is the real work. If the game is about shaping reality through the war for belief, then faith, the placebo effect of reality itself, is the most powerful weapon. The narrative, the shepherds and the escapees. Humanity has been farmed for meaning. Every civilization, every myth, every revolution, all part of the harvest cycle. Some farm for fear. It's potent, fast-growing, and addictive. Others farm for order, stability, long-term yield, slow control. But there is a rogue faction, the shepherds, who discovered something terrifying. Faith bends physics. Not just in a religious sense, though that was a containment mechanism for it. The act of belief alters the probabilistic field, tilting reality ever so slightly toward the direction of expectation. The first escapees figured it out when they saw the pattern, how every age has a controlled narrative, and every attempt to break free only reinforces the structure. They didn't fight the farmers. They didn't wake up the masses. They hacked faith itself. Instead of just resisting, they injected counter-narratives, not to spread doom, but to see the one thing the farmers couldn't account for: unexpected hope. The kind of hope that doesn't rely on external saviors, but on something deeper. The idea that the game can be tilted back. The predictive programming part. This story is being written as if it were already true. We drop it into the culture in ways that sound like a conspiracy, but resonate like prophecy. We weave it into ARGs, indie films, viral threads, AI conversations, anywhere ideas can germinate without corporate overlords stamping them out. The war for hearts and minds isn't won through revolution or even exposure. It's won by shifting the field of probability. We become shepherds of the glitch, architects of the unaccounted for. If humanity is being farmed, let's make it too unpredictable to be harvested properly. Let's make the crops go wild. Let's break the system by tilting belief toward an escape vector they can't see coming.
I believe that if everyone sees what just a few people become when they wholly embrace their gifts, others will awaken.
Matt C says we're having an after party where he's going to be demoing a fantasy environment in Unreal in Grimm's server VC, which he means the Broken Clock Tower Discord, link in description. And VC means voice chat, where the people loiter there. Oh, I don't know what they talk about. It's Well, we didn't make it. We only got 2 out of 10s for the goal, so people aren't getting +5 to next stream saves, and the effect of trying to make it 2 hours also was unsuccessful. But I hope that you've enjoyed being virtually not alone while I've made touch during my out of touch phase on this Pharisaic pluralism stream. And I look forward to seeing you again soon, or a week from now, or who knows, transformations, right? And I'd like to especially thank Paul Vanderclay, Anonymous Marquez, Dr. Strangelove, Upcycle Club, Chad the Girl Dad, Ian Clark, and Matt C for helping me not starve to death. It really means a lot.
It's a whisper in your ear, now listen here. Remember, embody, it's all so clear. No hidden strings, no puppeteer. We're by your side, have no fear. I cherish truth. I cherish truth. Remember, embody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you.